Hey guys, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo has said that it is impossible for liberal democracy to work in Africa. Obasanjo stated this during an interview with the Cable when asked his opinion on the reason for the increasing coups in Africa. The former nation's leader stated that the liberal democracy Africa was copying from the West Africa no longer served the continent. He insisted that it was time for leaders to come together and come up with a new system. Welcome back to Prospect Channels TV. Thank you for always coming out here. If you are just joining us, please kindly subscribe and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you. Liberal democracy will no longer work for us. Obasanjo speaks on coups. The former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, has said that it is impossible for liberal democracy to work in Nigeria. Obasanjo stated this during an interview with the Cable when asked his opinion on the reason for the increasing coups in Africa. The former nation's leader stated that the liberal democracy Africa was copying from the West could no longer serve the continent. He insisted that it was time for leaders to come together and come up with a new system. Obasanjo pointed out that out of the 6 countries that have experienced coups, 3 of them are directly from elections. I was the one who in 1999 advocated that if you are not a government backed by the Constitution, you should be suspended from the African Union. And these caps don't even mind any suspension. So, we have a situation where we have a continent when we have to rethink democracy. The liberal democracy we are copying from settled societies in the West won't work for us, he added. When asked what type of democracy would work, he replied, I don't know, but we have seen that the liberal type of democracy as practiced in the West will not work for us. We have to put our heads together. You have to put your heads together to fashion it out. You can give it any name, but we have seen that this is not working. It's not working out. Out of the 6 countries that have experienced coups, 3 of them are directly from elections. Burkina Faso, Guinea, and Gabon that we have just had are directly from elections. The other 3 are indirect, if you like, he said. No form of government can work in the presence of corruption, ethnic and religious bigotry. Corruption is a terrible cankerworm that spoils anything and everything. This is not even a bad political party. Nigeria is in a mess. Open your eyes, seek and point out the solution. Obasanjo has seen it all. At his age, the status and experience I feel he is voicing is candid opinion and should be listened to. He has enjoyed democracy and even yearning for 3 terms. And that time, liberal is good. The man knew that 1999 Constitution is a scam and cannot correct it. It is easier said than done. These are reactions from Nigerians, and they keep on talking. The question now is, when did he come to realization? Was it before or after he rigged all the elections he was even involved in, or when the candidate he supported lost out? Someone asked, please sir, I beg you to disagree. No system of government or military regime will work anywhere. The citizens are polarized along religious and tribal sentiments. For example, Nigeria, before the first coup, he did work. Regional government remains the key to quality government. Even if it warrants separation, humanity is the goal. The regional government is the best for Africans. Africans need its own system for living standards to improve. Democracy is a Greek. China said no to the Western way of politics and is doing very, very well. Thank you. China did not use democracy to improve its people. 400 million living standards in only 30 years. But its own system, democracy, should be discarded in Africa. Viva China. Liberal democracy is nothing but is an indirect for looting of rights of Africa by so-called nations through their stewage. Will any country in the West allow anyone to stay in power for 30 years? Not even 10 years. Leaders of Africa are wicked, selfish, and complicit in the underdevelopment of the continent. Whatever one may have to say about the messenger, but the message, unmistakably clear and categorical: Africans must not be able to conduct free, fair, credible, and transparent election owing to their disposition to grab power by all means, thereby destroying democratic institutions. Liberal democracy gives room for level playing field to all citizens. Liberal democracy gives room for those from the underlying population to evaluate social ladder, not the type of democracy practiced in Africa, where individuals perpetuate themselves in power through electoral fraud. If we want liberal democracy, our democratic institutions have to be fully functional, and the arm of government have to be truly independent of one another. Nigeria as a country has to rethink the type of government it wants to practice, whether military or democratic. So guys, what's your take on this? The former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, has said that liberal democracy can no longer work in Africa, and he has advised African leaders to put their heads together, let them fashion something out before it is too late. He's reacting to, coups taking place in African countries. So guys, let's hear from you. What's your take?